Maverick Live. I'm your host, Luke T, and today I'm joined by Adam McLachlan.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing? You good?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I've spookified the studio a little bit.
You have, ready for the festive season. Is it a festive season, I suppose?
It is. I'd say it's a festive season.
Yeah, Halloween's a festivity.
It's October, it's Halloween. People are looking to get scared. I put up some spiders, which I kind of feel like I should have addressed with the whole office in case anyone's an arachnophobic.
Triggering everyone's arachnophobia here, but I'm sure it's fine.
It should be okay. What's your favourite scary movie? I'm going to ask everyone this when they come on in the Halloween season.
Probably the Halloween series.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think everyone loves a good slasher movie.
A classic?
Yeah, you've got to go for it.
You going to see the movie when it comes out? Or when it came out?
I was actually going to go and see it on the weekend, but unfortunately, it didn't have very good ratings, so I thought I gave it a bit of a miss.
Yeah. Give it a go. That's the thing. I feel like with horror movies, sometimes if they're bad, they become good.
Yeah. But then they're bad. That they're good for being bad, and they're known for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. You laugh because of something being terribly. I watched a movie on Saturday, and someone was getting crushed by, I think it was a second Die Hard movie, and it was when someone's getting crushed by some pallet drops, and you can see a very sharp cut of when they become a dummy, and they just go, just get crushed by it. Anyway, we're not talking about movies here today, as much as I love to do that. You know, might create a podcast of our own doing that.
That could be quite good.
But we're talking about a business persona. Now, when I mention a business persona, it's a field that I think a lot of people sort of create for themselves when they enter a business. So whenever you have a job interview, a lot of the time you're embellishing how good you are and what you do at certain things. Like I say, oh, I'm really great at time management and this and the other. Whereas I set an alarm in the morning. That could be my embellished business persona in that sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's a good thing or a bad thing to have a business persona?
I think that ultimately it is quite a good thing. I think sometimes it's important to separate who you are outside of the workplace as to who you are, because it's like, you're sort of, when you come into a corporate space or any space where you're there to work, you are ultimately there to do a job. Yeah. So you have to embellish that mindset of, I am here to do a task throughout my day, and then when I leave, I can go back to being the person that I was before.
You can put yourself in the mindset of, entering and being like, okay, I am going to just get this done. I'm not this enthusiastic and presentery in the normal day-to-day life. So that's kind of like the stage persona you have, especially on camera. It's a stage persona when you enter a business or you're in a meeting where you're presenting. You put a little air of, taking things seriously. So that I kind of fall laps on sometimes. I can make jokes in the wrong kind of areas, but that's just me and my own persona. It doesn't mean everyone needs to have it there. Some people are who they are. They'll say it outright, like, I am this person and I'm going to bring this to the company and this is what I'm going to do. And you can respect people doing that.
Yeah.
But it's not a good or bad thing either. Like having a business persona and switching yourself on to do business tasks shouldn't be I'm going to sacrifice myself for it.
Yeah, and I think one of the a perfect example I think is Maverick. One of the beauties of Maverick is that it's a business space, but it also has that comfortable atmosphere that people can bring their own personalities into it, and that generates a lot of interesting ideas and a lot of new innovation. Whereas if you're going to a very heavy corporate space, that sort of thing isn't necessarily kind of approved, really. You have to. You are there to represent a company and their understanding and their ethos. So you do kind of have to. Some people do feel the need to change.
Yeah, it's having in the sense of a company culture, because of the person and the kind of how we blend in together.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a dress code here, as you could probably tell with my hat and my hoodie. It's to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Being themselves in a business space, so they don't feel stifled and it doesn't stifle their creativity. Because when you're going to try and do your best and you get your mind in your task, the least thing you want to think of is, how am I presenting myself? And you get the anxiety of how do I present myself in the workplace and am I giving off the right message? And if you're thinking about all these different things, it can kind of get muddled up in what you're actually doing in your day-to-day. Like, how do I look to my boss right now? It shouldn't be an issue of, how do I look to my boss? It should just be am I doing my job enough? How can I improve? How can the business help me improve? Those are the kind of questions that kind of get muddied up in, I need to be this business persona, I need to incorporate all of what my company is all about. And it can feel quite scary.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's difficult to, have to put on that hat every day and live it and breathe it. And then sometimes it can go home with you, know, and then those two worlds start to muddy together, and then it gets complicated, and then that's when conflicts can arise with your own happiness in the job and then frustrations and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely difficult to separate your personal self from the business self, but not allow one or the other to distract you.
Yeah, and it can go both one of two ways. It can be the fact that you become too lenient and too personal, therefore it's hard to have any like sort of sway and sort of that business driving the business forward kind of mentality. But on the other side of things, you've got a business personality where you're having to reach too much into formality. Like everything needs to be done through the red tape, and you can't just go to a desk and approach someone and say, hey, this is a problem, we need to address this, or I need to fix this. It needs to be written into a nicely constructed email, and then you become the bottleneck in the work and the flow of things, because what you're doing is trying to embed formality and business into everything you do, when it could just be solved by asking a person, hey, how do you feel about this? This, and then you just get it. So that can also, reach into a business persona, into a world of how you feel you should approach certain workspaces and certain, projects, just because it's a business.
Yeah.
And, like you said, that can make people feel very uneasy, and it can make them feel like they're not a part of the team when they don't have that ethos all the time.
Yeah. I mean, again, using the example of Maverick, like we all know that, yes, there is still our core values in our business, but we can, if something is wrong or something needs to be discussed, it can be a case of walking across the corridor and having that quick discussion with someone, rather than having to get stuck in that situation of, I've got to send an email because I've got to have the physical copy of, I've had that conversation in case it backfires on me in the future, but then at the same time, we also know that when it comes to the serious sorts of things, we have policies and procedures and things are written down so that we know how to follow certain criteria if anything ever happens. So I think that's important.
It's having a good balance between a bunch of people running around the office swinging off of chandeliers and just going, hey, it's a party time.
Riot.
And then also having I'm a shirt and tie man. My name is Dave from accounting. Thank you very much. Oh, if you want that, put it in an email, sir. I will not talk to you otherwise. Back to my salad. You need to have a little bit of levity. You need to have a little bit of business about you. And if you're feeling like you don't belong in a space, maybe take a look at how you're approaching that space and how that space is asking you to approach it.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming down, Adam.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for watching Maverick Live. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on LinkedIn for more content. If you're struggling with your business persona, best thing to do is just take a look at what you're doing right now, your workspace, and then seeing how you feel about it. It's all about knowing yourself in a sense.
Very much so.
Thanks again for coming down, Adam.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching Maverick Live. We'll see you next time.